Okay, everybody, I hope you're ready because this is the conversation I've been dying to have. And of course, I've wanted to have all of them, but don't get me wrong. Um, Nutrition, big, big, big deal for me, and I'm very passionate about it. So, this conversation is one that I've been really waiting for. So I have my one of my really good friends, as well as a teacher and a mentor when it comes to, like product knowledge, etc., here with me today. And we both studied under the same doctor, learning what we've learned. And anyway, I could go on forever. This is Dale.
Hello. So nice to be here. Thank you, Trisha.
Thank you so much, Dale, for joining us. And I want to just dive right in because your journey with the gut brain access, well, I know your story, but it began during witnessing your daughter through a transformational journey of her own. Do you mind sharing about how that experience reshaped your understanding of health and wellness?
Yes, absolutely. I have been, and once again, thank you for allowing me to share my life's work at this point. So I've always been into health and wellness. My dad, when I was 10, was given a year live and cured his own cancer holistically, lived another 40 years. So it's always been my belief that the body can heal itself if we give it the right tools. So I've been in, health and wellness, like I said, my entire life. I was actually with another nutrition company for 10 years, and I was at a marketing convention, and I met a woman who had just left another company that she was with to join the mental wellness company. At the time, my daughter was struggling. She was having panic attacks. She had lots of anxiety, depression. She had some PTSD, a lot going on. And I was like, tell me more about these products. So long story short, I got her on the products and she basically regained her life. She was in a writing program, one of 6 in the country, was chosen for this writing program. And at the time, she was so low that she was like, I can't write. I can't write. And now she's writing a book. So there it goes to show you right there. But the thing that was so fascinating to me, I knew that the gut was responsible for our immune system because 80% of our immune cells are in the gut. But I did not know the huge connection between the gut and the brain when it comes to mental well-being. So like you, Trisha, I went and got my certification with Dr. Sean Talbot, who's a psychonutritionist. And I was blown away by the information, like just completely could not believe it. And the thing that was so interesting with my daughter was when and this to me was affirmation that our bodies hold on to stress, but they hold on to things that happen to us, trauma. They hold on to trauma. So when she got on the program, she said, when I think about what happened to me, I don't feel the same. So she was releasing the feeling, even though the memory was still there, the feeling was dissipating. And that to me was just total affirmation that our bodies hold on to trauma. So it really became more of a life's mission for me to get this message out because it's so important. So what happened was I went to meet the company. They flew me out to California. I met the formulator, I met the founder, and I met a lot of other women that were there that had like unbelievable stories. Some that had kids that were on the spectrum, kids with ADHD, moms with postpartum depression, just moms like wanting to build stress, resilience. And I was like, wow, like even people with autoimmune stuff. And I was like, this is crazy. Like it all goes back to the gut. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the root of it all. And that's what I so believe that we got to get to the root. We can't just keep putting band-aids over symptoms and that it doesn't get to the healing piece. And as the work that you do, like it can't just be one thing. I know you're shaking your head. I'm talking your language here. Like you have to deal with the spiritual, the physical, the emotional, like all of it matters when it comes to healing. So I have been on this mission for 6 years now, and I continue to do this until the day I leave the planet.
I love it. I love it. And yes, I mean, I'm a living testament right here in front of all of you listening right now. In my journey, in my quest, which has been significantly, I don't know, been over a decade now. Um, you know, what we put in our bodies makes a tremendous difference. And this is not a testimony to any particular product or a guarantee in any way, shape, or form. But I am living, breathing proof that if you spend enough time with your physical body and learning how to listen to it, that you can remove things. I have removed over 4 autoimmune diseases from my body, and they no longer show up in my blood labs
Amazing.
after spending 8 years on, the poison medicine that just ultimately, it's my belief that they were actually exacerbating and creating the continuous diagnoses that kept showing up. But anyway, I digress. We could probably just go on
But
a wonderful journey.
yeah, but the continuous imbalance,
Yeah.
that's what the meds do. It's just like more imbalances in different areas of the body. Like it's
Just that. I mean, yes, the medicines, the synthetics, the pretend versions that
yes.
tell our bodies to stop doing what they're naturally supposed to be doing, but also not taking the time. And I don't want to, suck up your space here, but if we take the time to know, or to really pay attention, and it's a hard process, and a lot of people just don't like to take this journey with me, but like I know, what I eat, I know what to expect from my body in return. So if I allow myself to eat something that is tomato based, I know when I go to bed at night that my skin is going to be itchy and I'm going to feel a little creepy crawly. Like I just know that. And so it allows me to sit in a space of choice. Like, yes, I'm Sicilian. I love right sauce, and so it's great, but it allows me that opportunity to say I get to choose. So when I have pizza, I don't, as a general rule, I don't get the red sauce because I don't want to be itchy when I go to bed. So, there's that. So let's, you explain some of these things so eloquently, and I just always love to listen to you do this. So for the people that are listening here, that they're like, whoa, hey, slow down, you guys, right? The term gut brain access, and I like to lean into the gut brain heart access, because it's personal for me. But for those that term gut brain access is new to, can you explain what it is and why it plays such a pivotal role in both our mental and physical well-being?
Absolutely. So the gut is basically the second brain. So the gut will communicate to the brain through the vagus nerve. So that's the gut brain axis. So if you have gut dysbiosis, which means that you have like a lot of bad bacteria, there's a lot of issues going on in the gut, your gut is not able to send those signals to the brain. So if you provide the body with a diverse microbiome where you're giving it strains of targeted probiotics, prebiotics, and phytobiotics, it's going to have the ability to send good signals like serotonin and dopamine and GABA and norepinephrine. All those good neurotransmitters are mostly created in your gut. In fact, 90% of serotonin is created in the gut. So if you have all those good strains of bacteria, and it's like, okay, I need to feel a little bit happier, or I need a little bit more focus, so I need some GABA here or norepinephrine. You have that internal pharmacy that will send that signal to the brain. Like it's so interesting to me. So that's why we talk so much about like the stress resilience piece, Because when you're under a lot of stress, if you don't have what the bacteria that's going to help to provide like the calm, the GABA, right, is really no what is the best neurotransmitter for staying calm and being stress resilient. If you don't have that bacteria in your gut, it's not going to be able to produce it. So that's why if you have a gut that's out of balance, you have a lot of like bad bacteria in your gut, you're not going to have that internal pharmacy there. It's not going to communicate with the brain and say, "Oh, you're fine. You got this. You can handle this." Or, "Yeah, I got some energy, and yeah, I'm sleeping good because I got the serotonin going on, which is going to convert to melatonin at night naturally." You know what I mean? We're not taking
Right?
melatonin. We're giving our body what it needs to produce what it needs when it needs it. Same thing with hormones. Hormones go back to the gut. So you can reduce the cortisol by increasing the serotonin. You can, it all goes back to the gut. It's just fascinating.
It is. And I love that you leaned into the stress resilience. It was actually, the next bullet point of things I was going to ask you to touch on because,
Mhm.
we don't realize, even if we say, "Oh, I'm not stressed," but, if you generally describe your life as busy, overloaded, overwhelming, you got stress and you probably got some extra cortisol flying around in your gut and in your belly. And so you may think that you are resilient and you may be, but you're also shortchanging how resilient you really can be if you start creating. My next thing, right, is that internal pharmacy that
Mhm.
that you talk about, Dale. And I love the way that you explain how this concept works and how nurturing the gut brain axis taps into our natural abilities. I love the way that you talk about that.
I think my favorite thing is when I have moms that start the program and they come to me and they say, and they're kind of like puzzled, you know what I mean? They come to me and they're like, I just feel so calm. You know what I mean? Like, and they'll say, "I'm not snapping at my kids anymore. Like, what is going on here?" And I'm like, "Yes, that's what we're going for." You know what I mean? Like, you don't even realize it when you're in that like overwhelmed, like chronic state of, high stress, like you're stuck in that fight or flight. You don't even realize it. That's what overwhelm is. But once you get to that place where you're producing those neurotransmitters that help to make you feel calm, you realize, wow, I'm not snapping anymore. I mean, we've had kids that have said to their moms, like, "Mom, like, you're so much nicer lately," or like, "You're so much calmer, you're so much more fun to be around." I mean, we've had kids say that to their parents, and then the parents come on, they tell that story and they start to cry. Of course, like no parent wants to be that snappy mom and that one that's like jumping all over her kids. Nobody wants to do that. But when your body is in such a state of fight or flight, it's like you can't not snap. So I love that we have this tool that we can provide to moms, especially because there's such high stress demands of motherhood these days. And this is like near and dear to my heart as a mom of five and grandma to four. My focus has always been, I've also been a doula and a childbirth educator, just a little side note. So I've always been about moms and kids and families being healthier and happier and more calm and more harmony in the home. And this is just such an incredible tool to provide to parents so that they can have more of that, more calm and harmony and less like craziness in the house.
Still here, just in case you guys are all wondering. My Zoom land doesn't seem to want my video to be running right now, so I figured it's just better if I just turn it off for a few minutes.
Yeah, I was wondering where you went there, Trisha.
I'm here, but internet, whatever. So look, I love that, and I think it is super important. And my husband, even he says things to me like, like I enjoy your heart and your energy and your mood so much. And
Mm,
I have to say that, yes, okay, my private practice, the work that I teach to my clients, that emotional intelligence, those psychological skill sets and tactics, yes, those were a part of it and a big part of it. But what sustains me today, again, well over a decade later, is my nutritional practice. And that starts with, and Dale and I were talking before we started here, about, our shakes. It starts with, every day nourishing my body, right? With those quad biotics, with the nootropics, with the superfoods and super seeds and, healthy proteins, and just getting that all running in my body. And it's like, woo. And so, my central nervous system, or that axis,
mm,
continues to run at a really high level of positive energy. And so, like stress and overwhelm just don't get a hold of my physical body. So, the cognitive can just like turn it around really quick. But anyway,
yeah.
um,
I
so
mean, it's
for
all
the
important, right? It's all so important. Like
yeah,
every piece of it in place.
yeah, I'm back, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
back. We're gonna try again. If I turn it off again, that's why. But so for the people that are really here, that are, because everybody's here to unlock personal excellence, right? They and a lot of that is, you know, cognitive, emotional stuff, but there's, mood stuff, focus stuff, energy level stuff. And so maybe you could, what are some simple actionable steps that they can take to start strengthening their gut? And I know you have your reflection
Yeah.
sheet
Yeah.
below that's going to really guide them, but what would you say?
Yeah. So, you know, food is medicine, right? And you touched on that. What we put in our body is important. So I would say, for gut health, obviously you're going to reduce sugar because sugar creates a lot of bacteria, bad bacteria. But again, I love sugar too sometimes, but in moderation, right? Water is so essential for just overall health in general. But like you talked about the greens, your phytonutrients, right? Those are important. Your fruits. Just we can't get what we need from just foods, unfortunately. They're unless you're like living in a bubble and growing organic. I mean, I eat organic, but still, it's being grown in depleted soil. Even though it's organic, it's still depleted soil. I mean, unless you have your own garden and you're really diligent about replacing everything, just eating as clean as possible, getting really good sleep, that's huge. And that affects your gut health as well. Because at night, when you're sleeping, your body is in restoration mode. Um, replenishing, and the brain is resting. Like it's doing the work, it's doing the cleaning actually of the brain when you sleep. So making sure that you're getting into really good sleep at night is affects your gut, affects everything. I mean, the gut gets affected by everything. It gets affected by stress big time. Like people say, like actually kids will typically say, my tummy hurts. And we find out it's really, they can't necessarily articulate that they're stressed, that they're anxious. But the first thing that they'll say is, my tummy hurts.
Yeah, I've seen that
Yeah.
a lot.
Yes. Yes.
And I just want to pause really quick because you're bringing up sleep, and sleep is so important.
Mhm.
And so I know that there are a lot of folks out there that rely on different things to help them sleep, whether that be alcohol, Ambien, melatonin, or something of the sorts. And melatonin in particular is one that I find really important to educate people about, because it is a synthetic version of something that our bodies should be producing on its own. And so we are, in fact, telling our body to stop producing melatonin when we take melatonin. But, so I think that, it's really an important thing to highlight, especially, and you can speak to this from your experience as a mental wellness coach. Um, those common improvements that people notice when they start working on their gut brain health.
Yeah, it's amazing because, like I said earlier, when you have enough serotonin on board at night, the body knows, okay, let me turn that into melatonin. It's a precursor to melatonin. So if you have the serotonin, and you can get serotonin, by going outside in the morning, getting that sunlight in your eyes, that's going to help you actually to sleep at night. But you can also provide, again, the bacteria that the gut needs to produce it, 90% of it in the gut. So, I mean, there's things that we can do. And I think sleep is really the most important thing, honestly. I really do. I mean, the gut, of course, number one, but that's where the serotonin comes from. But I think if people are not sleeping, their bodies just can't be optimal. Their health, their mental and physical health cannot be optimal if they're not sleeping and giving them what it needs to replenish and restore.
And so let's, just to, I don't know, geek out on this for a minute, right? Because I hear this all the time.
Mhm.
Now, I'm busy. Life is so busy. I have so much to do. I've got my business, I've got my kids, I've got my spouse, I've got the house, just the list of reasons why, people can't get to bed earlier or can't, get more sleep or, whatever it is. Um, you know, we all can. So I get it. I raised 5 kids, right? Yeah, it's a thing. I get that, but the thing is, you put them to bed, and I don't care. Maybe you think like that's when you need to do the dishes and the laundry and the this and the that and the other thing. Perhaps you don't, right? Like there's ways of restructuring activities of daily living that allow for you to, after dinner, after the whole, get the kids off to bed type thing, that you can actually utilize that time. I mean, I myself, like I'm in bed, drop dead 9 p.m. I might not go to sleep until 11, right? But I'm in bed and will fall asleep naturally wherever my body needs me to that night. And so that could be within 30 minutes or that could be 2 hours. And then generally I will adjust that wake up time and I track it with with a target goal of 7 hours. And I do like to get up early, and it's always that, this, our whole, like always got to be on the go, on the go, on the go, on the go, on the go. And if we don't, if we don't create space for ourselves, our body's not going to function for us very long, right?
No, they're not. I like to think of it as, we have 24 hours in a day. So if we sleep for 8 hours, which would be wonderful,
Yeah.
we still have all of those other hours. What are we doing in that time? I mean, can you do 10 minutes of exercise out of the other 16 hours?
Yeah. But
I mean, literally, that's all you need. Like, if you can do something that simple every single day, like I try to go out in the morning, I usually do like 15, 20 minutes. And then after dinner, I'll see if I can do, another 10 or 15-minute walk. Like that's so simple, but it does so many good things for your body. I think we just have to be maybe a little bit more disciplined and maybe like sit down with a calendar and be like, okay, I'm doing this at this time. I'm doing this at this time. Where can I find 10 minutes? Literally, like 10,
yeah.
just anything, just little. Just
Okay,
be
so if you've
mindful.
got a 9 to 5 and you're punching a clock, right? Because people will say that. Well, I work 8 of it and it takes me an hour to get there, an hour to get home. So that's 10 hours. So I really only had 6. And then I got 2 hours of homework and I got to make dinner and I got to, I get it. It fills
Yeah, it's
out.
a
But
lot.
here's the deal. If you're punching a time clock still, which a lot of people are,
Mhm.
you have mandatory 10-minute breaks, use them. You have a mandatory lunch, use it.
Yeah,
No,
be
you're
intentional.
quit thinking, oh, I got to go to the restaurant and sit down and order a this and a that for lunch. Pack your lunch and walk and eat and get
Right.
outside, put your feet in the grass, whatever it is, right? But
Yeah, it's
use
just
that
being
time.
right. I mean, it's just being more intentional with your time. But also, I think when you have the nutrition piece in place, and you have that healthy gut that's giving you those neurotransmitters to stay calm, and have more energy and get better sleep. You know what I mean? Like it all comes together. And what I love too is what I see with people is once they start on the protocol, they're like super motivated to do more. So that's because of the dopamine that is also 70% of that is created in the gut. So once again, it all goes back to the gut and what you're feeding the gut. So it just gets them on a great trajectory when you start feeling better, you start being more intentional, you have more energy, you have better focus, you feel more motivated, and now you're on the path. And then you just add a little bit more every day, one day at a time. That's all we're promised, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's critical and that's, you know, to be grateful for that last breath you just took because, it's literally. And then, the other tidbit I would, add in is, we've got to stop treating our vehicles better than we do our physical bodies, right? Like we wouldn't put latex paint in the gas tank. We're not going to put sugar in the windshield wiper fluids. We're not going to put not olive oil. We're not going to put lard in the brake fluid, right? Like we're gonna take care of our car. Well, same, right, with our physical body.
Yeah, and don't wait till the check engine light goes on. Do the
Yeah,
prevention.
yeah. So let's do this, right? Like you have the reflection worksheet below, guys. You got to dive into this. There's so much of what we were just talking about, but with actionable things that you can do here that Dale's referring to here in this talk. Like download that and start picking away at it. And then in her free gift, there just even more, right? Like and even more things that you can actually tap into and start doing to start making a difference. But Dale, I really want to make sure that we end with you giving that one big takeaway that you want everybody to remember to hear from today's conversation. What would that be?
Everything starts in the gut.
There you go.
It all starts in the gut.
Yes.
That's it. And this is not a new theory either. This is like from Hippocrates, right? It all starts in the gut.
So beautiful, so amazing. I do want to apologize for, being a picture half the time. But you know what? We always
We
got to
made
be
it work.
we got to roll with the punches, right? I do value and appreciate your time and your energy and your efforts into bringing all of your wisdom here. And it always means a ton to me. I value and appreciate things that I've learned from you over the years. And yes, everybody, we've known each other for years. Like it took me a couple of years to really integrate with Dale, but that's because I was watching and witnessing and gaining all of her evidence. And so don't take as long as I did to gain all of the evidence and start diving in. You have, right? Like you've got a cheat sheet right below this video. And you're going to have access to, even more information. And then of course, once you get that free gift from her, feel free, like reach out, tap in. This is what it's all about, right? Starting, wrapping up the year heading in the right direction from a physical health standpoint.
Yes. And I would also like to invite, if it's okay, invite all your viewers to come in and see some of the life-changing stories in our community. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's so inspiring.
Absolutely.
I mean, we deserve to live a healthy, happy, abundant life. That's our birthright.
Amen. I'm going to leave on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, you've got your, you have your challenge. We'll talk to you in the community chat. You can always pop over there and ask Dale any question you want. And we'll all be hanging around and answering questions over there. So hopefully you've found it and you're already in there and actively participating.
Okay.
Thank you again, Dale.
Thank you.